Well, good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Chesley McNeil. We are watching for snow to move into our forecast area. We've already seen the cold air. In fact, we still have the cold air over us as we speak. And so with that cold air in place, we are watching for more winter weather to come in. It's in the form of snow. It's cold enough that it will be snow. We're not looking at ice here at all. Maybe in the southeastern portions of the state is where you'll find some ice mixing in, but none for us. It should be not the wet kind of snow that we saw the last time we had an event like this. We're going to be looking at that powdery kind of snow, very dry snow. And it doesn't look like it's going to amount to much here in the metro area, but the southern portions of the state is where you're going to be able to find some of that snow coming down that could accumulate. Any snow that falls, of course, could lead to some problems. We still have our 11 live weather impact alert that was going to last until tomorrow morning. Now, we're looking at not only the snow, but also the cold air that's in place as well. The two combined could create some slick spots on the roads, of course. And you also have to protect the pipes, the pets, and also people that are vulnerable to any impacts as far as the snow or the cold air goes, especially because they could be impacted by that cold air. The cold air is more of a concern, more so than the snow at this particular point. Now, you look at the live radar right now, and it does show where some flurries may be flying around. What you've seen so far hasn't reached the ground. We have a dry layer of air over us. And because of that drier air, as the snow begins to fall, it evaporates before it reaches the surface. So we haven't seen much in the way of snow, even though if you look at the radar, it does appear as though snow is coming down, but we haven't seen much of that so far reaching the ground as of yet. And so we're still monitoring that, but eventually that's going to reach the ground. And so we'll see some light snow flurries first, and then light snow certainly will begin to fall. We've seen more of that back off to the west of us, over into parts of Alabama, into Louisiana. I'm sorry, my producer's talking to me. What are you saying? Yes, we can do that. Now, we are looking at a cold advisory. You can see all of our counties that are highlighted in the shade of blue. This is in place because of the wind chills. Our winds are lighter this morning than they were just yesterday. And because of the light winds, it's still impacting our temperatures. So we can see those wind chills as low as the single digits, maybe even down to zero in some spots. And then we'll be looking at also in the North Georgia mountains, below zero wind chills. That's going to go away at 9 o'clock, and then it will come back to us as we head into the evening. So another cold advisory will kick in at 10 o'clock tonight and will last through tomorrow morning. Take a look at the current temperatures that we have outside right now. The temperatures are in the 20s. We got some teens out there as well. 19, for example, over into Carrollton, 23 degrees right now in the city of Atlanta. Light winds, about 10 miles per hour or less, makes that 23 feel like 15. Makes that 19-degree temperature feel like 9 over in Carrollton. So it feels very cold outside. So you definitely have to bundle up. This is why we're telling you to protect yourself, not only yourself, but your children, things like that. Schools have been closed. Some schools are going to virtual for today. And so we don't have to worry about folks being outside in the cold at least, but we are monitoring what's taking place. And so we'll continue to watch that as we head through much of the day today, as far as those cold temperatures go, and tonight. I do think we'll remain below the freezing mark right on through tomorrow morning, but by tomorrow with some sunshine coming back, we'll see that temperature get above the freezing mark as we head through the day on Wednesday. So we'll be watching and monitoring that as we go along. All right, so we're continuing watching the possibility for snow. In fact, the National Weather Service has issued now a winter weather advisory for the highlighted counties that you see here in the blue, or that purple shade that you see there. Atlanta over toward Athens, all these highlighted counties. So as far north as Bartow County, Cherokee County, Forsyth County, Hall County, and Banks County southward down to Henry County and Fayette County, Coweta County is where we could see as much as 1 inch of snowfall accumulating. So as much as 1 inch of snowfall is possible for this area here. You may get some higher amounts, especially just south of the city of Atlanta. So down toward Henry County, could see a little bit higher amounts. Coweta County as well, could see some higher amounts. Once you get down here into these pink shaded counties, so for example, Spalding County, Butts County, Jasper, and Putnam County, you'll be looking at higher amounts. And so down toward Macon into Valdosta, we're looking at anywhere from 3 inches of snowfall, maybe up to 4 inches of snowfall. Could be as much as 5 inches of snowfall in some spots. And so we'll continue to monitor that as we go along, because this is where it's going to be the heaviest. Now, we're not used to that, of course. You are used to the higher amounts being in the North Georgia mountains. We're not going to see much at all there. The higher amounts will be down here to the south. Why is that the case? Well, because of an area of low pressure that's down here in the Gulf that's going to slide by. It's bringing in that moisture, but the cold air is already in place. That cold air extending all the way down into parts of Florida. And so because the cold air is in place, any moisture that comes will be in the form of snow. And so we've been seeing that snow in places like Jackson, southern Mississippi, where you don't see a whole lot of that. Houston, Texas, where you don't see a whole lot of snowfall. You get ice every now and again, but snowfall, well, that cold air is in place, and so that's why we're getting that. This is going to continue to slide over toward the east and will bring that precipitation over our way, which is what we're seeing a little bit of that right now, but again, just a little bit too dry for a lot of that to reach the ground. We'll see more of it as we head into the afternoon. I suspect by between mid-morning and early afternoon that light snow will be falling in our forecast area. And because the ground is so cold, a lot of that will begin to stick. It will begin to pile up. And again, up to a ½ inch to an inch of snowfall is certainly possible as we head through the afternoon. Tracking a cold front that's back off toward the east of us, or toward the west of us rather, that will continue to slide right on into the area as well. It's going to reinforce that cold air that we have. So we're actually looking at temperatures staying or remaining cold later on tonight. It really won't be until we get to Wednesday afternoon that we'll start to see those temperatures begin to warm up above freezing, and then we'll gradually warm those temperatures up as we head into the rest of the work week. We'll get back into the 40s, and then eventually we'll get back into the 50s as we head into the upcoming weekend. Take a look at these models here, and this is just two models that we look at. We look at lots of models, especially when it comes to snow, showing us exactly how much snow we'll receive and where that snow will fall. We've been checking out the American model, and lately, as of today, really this morning, it's been pushing that snow line a little bit further back up to the north, and so it now includes parts of Atlanta receiving some accumulating snow. Meanwhile, the European model has been a little bit more consistent and showing just light accumulations around the forecast area. As far as the amounts go, looking at the same models, you can see where we had this white line on the American model a little bit further down to the south over Atlanta. Now we're seeing this blue line a little further to the north that includes Duluth and into southern parts of Hall County, and even down here to the south, some of our southernmost counties now receiving as much as 2 inches of snowfall. That blue indicates about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of snowfall possible. That's the American model. When you look at the European model that has been a little bit more consistent, it places Atlanta under the less than 1 inch side of the snowfall. So either way, and looking at both models, you compare the two, I'm going to say, and we have a hand-drawn map here, I'm going to say we're looking at anywhere between 1/2 inch to 1 inch from the city of Atlanta northward, just northward in some of our northern suburbs. Just to the south of the city of Atlanta, 1 to 2 inches possible. So you're talking about places like Coweta County and Henry County, Rockdale County could receive anywhere from 1 to 2 inches of snowfall. Certainly possible there. Further south you go, now you're down toward the Macon area. You're talking about up to 3 inches of snowfall, maybe even higher in some spots, especially a little bit south of Macon. So we're talking about light accumulation, but any amount of accumulation that falls will lead to some impacts around here. We're talking about light snowfall. All right, and that light snowfall hits the ground, it freezes, and it creates slick spots. I want you to think in the terms of black ice, right? That snow that begins to accumulate, freezes over, becomes very hard, and that leads to slick spots, not only on the roads, but also on the sidewalks as well. And then you're talking about it sticking around through the overnight. As it stays on the ground, overnight we'll see those temperatures back down into the teens, and because of that, we'll start to see more refreezing that takes place on the roadways and on the sidewalks. And so by tomorrow morning, we're still looking at impacts from any snow that falls, whether it's a dusting to 1 inch. There could be impacts in the metro area, so be on the lookout for that. As far as our forecast goes for today, we have the clouds in place. This is our in-house model here, and it shows some of that snow by this afternoon moving into the metro area. Notice it keeps the bulk of the snow further down to the south of us. So you're talking about some of our southernmost counties and then southward. That's why we're talking about heavy amounts down to the south. But it starts placing some snow showers over our area by this afternoon, and I think it could be off and on for us until we get to about 8 o'clock tonight. That's when things will begin to shift a little bit further down to the south. Even our clouds will start to break up through the overnight, which will allow clearing skies, and that's going to allow those temperatures to really start to escape back out into the atmosphere. So even if we get up to 32 degrees for a high today, I think those temperatures will fall off into the teens later on tonight. Waking up tomorrow morning on Wednesday, we will have the sunshine in place. Now we're going to start off very, very cold, but we'll get the sunshine in and we'll be looking good from there. We're expecting those temperatures to rise up to about 38 degrees. So that'll be well above freezing. That'll give, and with the sunshine, it will give a chance for thawing to take place, if you will. We'll see whatever has frozen on the grounds and on the roadways begin to melt off because of the solar radiation that we'll receive and those temperatures warming up well above freezing. And then we'll watch those temperatures fall off into the 20s for overnight lows going into Thursday. Thursday starts off with a little sun, and then the clouds start to move back in. And so even though we'll have some clouds around, we're not looking at any precipitation around. We'll see those clouds go away from us as we head into the evening on Thursday, and that means we'll get some sunshine back in here on Friday. So our wettest day will be today. That'll be our chance to get some snow in the forecast area. And again, right now, as we speak, we're looking at light accumulations around the forecast area. So you're looking at 38 degrees for the high temperature on Wednesday. By Thursday, we'll get up to 42 after a 22-degree start. Still starting off in the 20s on Friday, but we'll hit 45. Over the weekend, we get a little better. All right, so temperatures back into the 50s by the time we hit the weekend and going into next week. Looking at 50 on Saturday. Sunday, we're looking at 53 degrees for the afternoon high, and then 55 by the time we get to Monday, with a chance for some rain pushing back into our area as we get into the work week next week. And so we'll continue to monitor what's going on in our forecast area pretty much all day long. Really not expecting to see much in the way of snowfall until we get toward the afternoon. So I'm thinking about early afternoon, you'll start to see more of those flurries flying around, and some light snow possible after about 1 or 2 o'clock. That could linger into 5 o'clock this afternoon before things begin to wrap up by 7 and 8 o'clock tonight. All said, accumulating up to an inch here in the Atlanta metro area, up to an inch, maybe a little more than that in some spots just south of the city. The further south you go, down toward the Macon area and into the central portions of the state, that is where you're going to find a lot of the heavier snowfall amount. So you're talking about 3 to maybe 5 inches. And I know that sounds a little strange because we usually talk about 3 to 5 inches being in the North Georgia mountains, for example, way up there to the north. But they're not going to see much of anything with this system, that system being a little bit too far to the south. There is still some uncertainty with this particular system, meaning that we could see higher amounts if the area of low pressure moves a little bit further to the north. If it slides any further to the south, we could be talking about nothing around here, or very little at all if you see any. And so some still varying expectations with this particular snowstorm, this particular snow system. And so you got to keep it locked right here for the very latest. We're going to continue to stream live for you all morning long, every hour. On the top of every hour, we'll be back to update you on the latest models, what we're seeing as far as any trends go, as far as with the snow going on. But again, we're not expecting to see that snow begin to fall until we get toward the end of the morning hours into the afternoon. Keep in mind, you can join us on our Facebook groups, all right? And we are looking at models. We're talking about things on our Facebook group, on our social media pages. We'll let you know exactly what you can expect. Also continue to join us right here for streaming, and also on the air live. We have cut-ins that we'll continue to do and keep you updated as we go along. We'll be back right after this.